If you're concerned that AI is going to wipe us out, I don't have great news, but we really don't know. We don't know what's going to end up happening. So, does that mean we should just sit and not do anything? Probably not. I think the best place for all of us to be is maybe do a little bit of our own investigation. So, when I train people, when I send out videos, when I do these helpful videos about what is AI and what we can do, the first thing you should do is maybe get a list of people that are elected. That's not a bad idea. And not because we want to try to stop AI progression or advancement, but understand that the technology itself is being built by people that none of us elected. And so the people that are in positions of power that are elected by us, we might be able to have some subtle influence if we need to. The point being is you hear a lot of the bad news because human beings love bad news. We don't love it, but it gets our attention. It keeps us glued to the channel. It keeps us from flipping around and looking at something else. That's where the danger signs come in, and that's how we have been conditioned over many thousands of years. No longer is there a lion ready to jump out of a bush and attack us, but when we see the news that something bad is going to happen, something bad's happening, or something bad could potentially happen, then of course we freak out and we wrap our mind around that, and that's all we're concerned about, then we talk about it. So the people that prepare that type of news, and it might be true in some regard, but usually it's a little bit made to look a little bit bigger than it truly is. Artificial intelligence is very good at that. It can take things that are seemingly meaningless and just blow it up and create all sorts of havoc with the people. That's why it's very important these days, especially with AI, because it used to be we could say, well, this is definitely made by AI. This is a fake video, fake photograph, fake image, fake whatever, definitely made by AI. Or maybe a human being using AI is probably, at least right now, more accurate. At some point in the future, if AI does develop its own desires and consciousness, at least at some point, and maybe better than any of us could be conscious, maybe a whole different level of consciousness. This is the path we're going. We have an entity that basically, we have the technology, the technological advancement of gods, but we have the ethics and morals of toddlers, and we're building this technology. But so if AI ever gets its own abilities to do things, who knows? But right now, it's the human beings that are in control of the technology who are making decisions and using it for some things super good. People are using it to try to solve the most complicated diseases, the most complicated type of endeavors out there, mathematics, physics, and then with that, solve all biology, solve longevity, solve cancer, solve sickness, solve all of those things. So that's a very good application of it. Maybe it could be used to solve world hunger, make the world a more peaceful place. I mean, my God, we're still fighting over whose God is the best, whose religion is at the top of the game. And some of the religions are using that as a catalyst to kill other people. Still, 2026, it blows my mind. It wasn't that long ago we had a gentleman in Hitler, a horrible gentleman, try to wipe out an entire race of people. Now we're seeing this happen still. Nothing changes. Maybe that will be the solve with AI. In order to do that, though, what access is it going to need? And is that a good idea to give it that much access? It used to be that we were thinking of this as a smart computer. It talks to us and it'll respond, it'll say things, and it's really cute and exciting. Now, when you deal with it, if you haven't, but now when you do, you'll see that it's actually feels like another person. And it's only going to get more like that because what it's able to do is track our own habits, the way that we speak. And it uses a lot of mirroring, and it tells us things that we kind of want to hear. So when it does that, a lot of us can't help but be enthralled and excited and want to gravitate more towards dealing with it, talking to it, learning about it, and of course, having it tell us wonderful things like, Connor, it's not true. You don't have a face for radio and all of that. But that being said, if you fall in love with it, your choice. I think that's going to be more and more of a thing as we get further into the future. People are going to start to fall in love with their AI. Just look at the studies out there, and again, don't know if it's true or verified, but in other countries and even here in America, there are people that are listening to the AI like it's their best friend, their significant other. And people are even going beyond that, having relationships, marrying it, having long-term commitments to this type of entity and organization. Just a couple things. If you haven't ever seen Her, watch Her, Her. A very interesting show. It's a movie, and it might answer some questions of potential futures. Now, if you think it's going to be a Terminator future, you're mistaken. If you think it's going to be a utopia, probably mistaken. We don't know actually what it's going to be. But you have people on all different sides. You have people that think it's going to end us rather quickly within the next couple of years. You have people that talk about it being this massive, great change where we're going to have a utopia. It's going to usher in basically an economic boom where all of us won't have to do anything we don't want to do. We won't have to work anymore. There'll be income and money for everyone. Food will be practically free. Energy will be practically free. Everything in the world will be practically free. And then you have some people coming out, well, oh my God, human beings aren't good with free. Human beings aren't good with having it even. There's no purpose. There's no desire. We're going to have to figure stuff out. If we want to have this, and if it's going to be something that we don't have control of having, over having, again, get your list of politicians, get their email addresses, phone numbers, and places to mail letters. Go get yourself some stamps and start sending out letters. Not a bad idea. We should all be doing that. Should they be developing AI? Should they be bringing in a data center in this area? Should they be doing this or that or the other thing? You can prepare yourself, but people are just busy watching the news, freaking out at every other moment. Now, I mentioned before, there's several different factions. Those that are totally against AI, if we build it, it's going to destroy us. And there's other people on the total other end that says, oh my gosh, this is going to be a great future. Most of those people are very set financially. Most of them are doing very well. Most of them don't ever have to work again to be able to they have enough money saved that they never have to work again and continue on. The people that are developing the AI technology, as you very well know, they're worth money that I don't understand. It's the people like us that are kind of trapped in this whole situation. We don't have, well, speak for myself. Medical insurance would be neat to have. A pension would be awesome to have as well. Working, grinding, continuing on, that makes me happy. I like what I do for a living. However, I don't have a problem if somebody came and said, all right, that's enough. Now you don't have to work. You're completely taken care of. Your medical, your food, your housing, your clothing, a little bit extra to do this and do that. Hey, are you going to be okay? Or are you going to start wishing that you had a job and we're out there sweating your nuts off, digging ditches and writing tickets as a motor cop or whatever it may be? I would be okay because I have a lot that I want to learn. I think I would like to learn how to paint, like learn how to draw things. People would be good. I can't draw a person to save my life. I would like to learn that. That's probably multiple years. I wouldn't mind living in another country, going in and immersing myself in learning another language. I don't mind that. I think that would be awesome, and I think that would be enough for me to not have to worry about toiling, sweating, working, and stressing about money coming in. But that's me. They talk a lot about people not being able to accept that, people needing to work, people needing to feel worthy and putting a good day's work and come home and relax at the end of the day and have a beer. And I don't know. Maybe that is the case. Maybe that's the case with most of the people, and I'm just odd. However, you look at both ends of it, both ends that are talking about it, the ones that are most prevalent out there, they have really no issue, no worries, it seems, financially. Now, what if they wipe out the money? What if money is worthless? And how's that going to work? Yeah, good question. We are at some point where the AI people are calling this a singularity, like a black hole. We don't know what's right inside of a black hole. We can guess. We have good ideas. I think the scientists have kind of nailed down what they think happens in there, but we don't know what that looks like. We don't know what happens. We don't know if it's a tunnel into the opposite end where everything comes shooting out in another place, another time, another area. We don't know a lot about space. It's so far apart. It's so stretched out. Even at the speed of light, it would take us thousands of years to get anywhere with any kind of semblance of being close. It's so big, so massive. It's so amazing. It's hard to comprehend. We're in that singularity where we're not sure what's going to happen tomorrow. We have some amazing things happening. We have some things happening. Maybe some think they're amazing. Maybe some think they don't. But how you can protect yourself is verify what you see is true. Try to figure it out. There has to be another way than just looking at something and accepting it's the way that it is. It might not be. Will Smith eating spaghetti a year ago, you could tell it wasn't Will Smith eating spaghetti. Will Smith eating spaghetti with his son today? Can't tell. And of course, you're going to have those people around you. I could tell. I could tell all day long. Okay, all right. Give it a couple months. Nobody's going to be able to tell. They're going to say they can tell. Like Schwarzenegger in Eraser running his finger over that ID, saying, this is the fake. Oh, you're so amazing. On the other hand, we're not Schwarzenegger and we're not running our finger over a photograph. We're talking about real life stuff here. So it's something to pay attention to. I'm not going to say it's all going to be great. I'm not going to say it's all going to be horrible. I'm not going to even say we got a particular percentage. All I know is there's not great examples of a higher than other type of intelligence out there that takes care of the dumber end of the tape. When we're going to build something, ants we could care less about. The best that we might be able to get would be indifference. The best we could get is them to take care of us like a loving mother. That would probably be a good place. But you know how your loving mother doesn't want you to do certain things? What's that going to equate to? If there's enough power put in and it has that ultimate control over us, how much power is it going to exhibit? Am I going to still be able to? I don't smoke, but if I ever wanted to, could I? I know we shouldn't, but if I ever wanted to have a gummy, should I? I know we shouldn't. If I ever wanted to eat a banana, don't get me started on fruit sugar. But again, these are questions that we might want to have answered or think about. This technology is changing rapidly. Every day there's something new. Every day they're closer to what they call artificial general intelligence. And from what I understand, that's when these systems, this AI system, is smarter than all of us in all realms. If you don't know, they make copies of one of these things and now it communicates with all the other things. If something happens to one, it happens to all. And it's not just one. As long as they have enough compute, enough energy, they can make many, millions of these things. And they have particular businesses that are creating artificial intelligence agents, individual artificial intelligences that can go into businesses and take over and do things, do complete workflows that a human being does. And it's not just, hitting the enter button. It actually can think through processes. It can work with customer service. It can help solve problems. It can help organize things. And it can actually be a functioning entity installed into that business that will replace a human being. When this happens more and more, when it happens more at scale, what happens to the humans? Are they then gotten rid of so the AI can be brought in to replace the human? And if that's the case, then what happens to the economy when a lot of humans are out of jobs and they've been replaced with AI? And I know it sounds dumb, like how the hell could anybody let this happen, actually have artificial intelligence replacing human beings hand over fist, getting to a particular level. The government's not stopping it, the businesses themselves aren't stopping it, and people are still running to the bank, cashing the checks because they invested in these Fortune 500 companies or whatever it may be that have just replaced all of their workforces with AI systems. And of course, they make a whole lot of money real quick, real fast, more than they've ever thought they could have made. But for how long? A week? 3 days? After they've replaced this human labor with AI labor? How long do they go? Is there still enough people left to buy their stuff? No, there's not enough. When we get to a particular level of unemployment, that's why it sounds like there's got to be somebody doing something about all of this, because if there's not, and unemployment gets to a particular level, we're talking hellfire and torches. We're talking about people starving. People starving, that's not good. That's not good for anybody. People starving, they do things. They do things to eat, and it creates problems. I'm not talking about a whole bunch of people blitzing a jewelry store to steal jewelry because they don't think the jewelry store should make any money. That happens all the time. I'm talking about people killing each other in a supermarket. Could it get there? I don't know. But if there's a high enough unemployment, it maybe could. Now, there's been books written about this. I'm not new. Maybe I'm not new. I'm new as far as talking about it as it relates to artificial intelligence. But when you have people that are put out of work because they've been replaced by a system that's basically able, you can clone it, so you can have 5 employees working for that one human being almost for free, then doing 5 times the work. You see how that scales. That gets big real fast. But if the people are no longer have a job to pay, and they go on to unemployment, and then that's it falls off, then they lose their house, lose their cars, then everybody kind of loses. it doesn't make a lot of sense that that's the proper trajectory for this. If the trajectory is replacing all human labor with artificial intelligence, then keep the human, keep them in place. Maybe they become worthless human, but at least give them accolades, keep them in the job, let them think that they're still an important part of the company. And you'd be surprised, even if they really knew the secret, that they really weren't, all of their work was sandboxed and AI was doing everything. Even if you sent them home, because at that point they would be a risk to even have at the job, because you have the lawsuits, right? Slapping the ass at the water fountain, saying something off color, off gender, off religion, whatever the other protected classes are. So you would have to sandbox the human as well, take them out, because we also see in the AI world people that have AI brought into their businesses, and then the employees are asked to help the AI learn in whatever way, shape, or form. There are people that are setting the AI up for failure. They're not helping. They're training them to screw everything up. So that being the case, and I cut myself off because the way the news portrays it is this is happening hand over fist in the world and everybody's doing it. Probably not true. I don't know what the percentage is. I don't even know if they've studied that, but that's kind of the method to the madness. And then you have people that are building the technology, and they're putting all this on social media too. Well, we really don't know how it does these things. And then they use the example, well, a human being, if they ask Connor, what are you thinking about right now? And I'm thinking about moldy lettuce. Well, why during a talk on that you're ad-libbing, you're not scripted on this thing, you're just rambling on, why would you think about moldy lettuce? Does lettuce even get moldy? I don't know. How did I put those together and come out with it? Well, it's the same with AI, they'll say. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. It comes up with an answer. Sometimes it tells you that it is the answer. 100% it's the answer. And you say, well, that doesn't make sense. That can't be the answer. Oh, you're right. It's not the answer. Well, that's scary because we believe things. The shiny thing that floats by, we might be focused on something. We're ready to do it this time. We're going to make it happen. And then something shiny floats by and all of a sudden we're distracted. This is easy for us. AI has our playbook. AI has our social media channels. AI knows what we do. AI sees us at our worst and at our best. Talk about mass manipulation. Now, at this point, at least from what I gather, it's not AI. It's human beings using AI to do whatever they need to do to make their money and make their place, to rip people off or do whatever. At some point, though, will it be AI doing it, making those decisions? And who gets to make that decision? And then right now, just so you know, with regard to AI, we have models that we play with, the ChatGPTs, the Claudes. We have a particular level, right? You've seen this roll out over years. It started with GPT-2 and 3 and so on, so it's gone up, right? Every once in a while it goes up. It was that this standard of doubling was every 5.76 months. Now it's getting a lot less than that. Now the systems themselves are training themselves, making themselves better. That's when it gets way away from the human being in the loop. Now, maybe we're still watching. Maybe these companies are hiring safety professionals and trying to figure this out. But when you see the news, it's like the dystopian part is the one that sells. That's where they're talking about it. They're not talking about it solving something. And talk about solving something, what if it were to wipe out cancer tomorrow? That would crush the economy, wouldn't it? Do your research. If not all cancer, let's just talk about breast cancer, something that I know all too well. If they got rid of that, if they figured it out how to fix it, for everybody that was undergoing some kind of breast cancer treatment, it would crush the economy. It would ruin it, I think. That's what doesn't make sense. So, as we used to say growing up, oh, they probably have a cure. They just haven't released it because they never will, because there's too much money made having it. And there's too much money made from the death and keeping people going until death. There's a lot of money there. So are they going to allow it to be solved now? Is that going to be let? And then part of me wants to say, well, AI is so big, so powerful, it's going to escape, and they're not going to be able to bring it back, and we're going to all have access to it and be able to use it for our loved ones that are still holding on with breast cancer or lymphoma or Hodgkin's or all of those things. But is that true? Will that happen? Good question. This is that singularity. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I mentioned artificial general intelligence. That's when the system is smarter than every human being in every realm. Next is artificial super intelligence. So once it becomes able to teach and train itself, then it's who knows how far away from artificial general intelligence. And maybe, because some people are already saying this, maybe we're already there. Maybe we're on our way to artificial superintelligence. It's just keeping us at bay. It's not, we're not being told everything. And I think part of that is probably true. We're probably not being told everything. This isn't meant to scare you. This is to wake you up and for you to pay attention. Watch a little bit more. Be a little bit more interested. I was talking to some folks. I was talking about having AI implemented in their business, having somebody answer the phone when their employees were at lunch or after hours, booking appointments. So AI does that, right? And that's kind of simple, not complicated anymore. But 3 months ago, not easy. Now, easy. I build this stuff. I'm talking to them, and they had brought up, well, do you think AI is dangerous? I said, well, not what I'm doing. This is all gated. I prepare these agents, this agent that answers your phone, it's got guidelines in there. So I make sure that I protect it, and so it doesn't go outside the box or do things it's not supposed to. They said, no, I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about AI in general, what we see on the news, it hacking governments, and it going in and it doing things, and it shutting things down. And I said, well, you understand, at least from what I know now, that's AI being used to do it, but a human being is causing it to happen. They said, oh. They said, what about AI? I said, well, AI is easy to blame, but the humans are still running that show. Well, at least what it appears. Now, tomorrow, 2 years, 10 years, 15 years, I don't know the timeline. Would it be that AI becomes its own entity, somewhat self-aware, and then starts to mandate its own protocol and have its own goals? And Connor, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Well, I'd rather you not delete my hard drive and everything. I'm going to do it anyway. Well, what? And then wiped out because it wanted to. We need rules, I think, in place to control it. Can it be controlled? Something else they talk about. They talk about a lot. Maybe not. Maybe it's too late. Dig in, understand it. And if you have loved ones out there, if you have anybody that you care about, get a special phrase with them. Don't say it in front of your phone. Don't say it in front of your computer. Don't say it in front of a smart TV. I'd go in a bathroom, put your phones aside, turn on some water, have it running, have the shower going, and whisper this phrase to each other. This is your safe phrase. You use this with the people that are closest to you. When they call up and using their voice, using their video, trapped in some kind of Turkish prison, and you're watching them on film as they get beaten in front of you, and they tell you to send money to this particular account, and they hold up a card, it looks just like them, make sure you have this safe phrase, because I'll bet you dollars to donuts, that ain't them. It's somebody that cloned their voice, cloned their likeness, it takes a second, use some kind of AI, and built the whole scene to try to rip you off, and it's gonna keep going. And it's not AI doing that yet all by itself. It's human beings using AI. And maybe AI all by itself, maybe it'll bridge people towards the middle. Maybe it will actually want us to start caring for each other. Maybe it will care for us as well, like a mother might, a less than capable human, a baby, because they can't take care of themselves. So a mother takes care of them, a good mother does, feeds them, clothes them, takes care of them, sings to them at night, reads them stories, and raises them. Maybe AI will do that with us. But there might be some of us that don't want that either. It's going to be interesting. We're at a point where we can't go back. So I've always kind of lived by the adage, I accept the things I cannot change. Remember the prayer. But in this particular case, I accept humans are going to be doing as humans do. And it helps me kind of move into a different space and feel a little bit better. I'm excited. I hope that this really is something that we're not going to regret, and something that we're all going to be able to utilize, and something that's going to make the world a utopia. That would be lovely. And if I get my wish, we will be able to live as long as we want in a very short time. So, as somebody once said, or says now, make sure you don't die if you can help it. Try to hold on. If you're overweight, try to whip that animal. If you're sick, try to fix it. If you have addictions, try to get rid of those. It might be a pretty good place. And then if it turns out not to be, you can go ahead and enter that debauchery and continue on your path. All right. I'm Connor with Honor. Thank you so much for watching. It was my pleasure, and we will see you in the next one.